Guns took a full minute to reload. Longbows fired 12 arrows in that time. Crossbows were more accurate. Pikes were cheaper. For 300 years after their invention, firearms were objectively the worst weapon on the battlefield. So why did they win? The answer isn't about ballistics or firepower. It's about something that changed how states calculated military power forever. And once you see it, you'll realize most of military history is a lie. What early firearms actually were. The first hand cannons appeared in Europe around 1350, cast bronze tubes filled with powder and lead. You touched a lit match to a hole and hoped the explosion went forward instead of into your face. These weapons failed constantly. Rain soaked the powder, wind blew out the match. Poor casting meant barrels burst without warning. Effective range was 50 meters if you were lucky. Accuracy didn't exist. You aimed at a formation and prayed something got hit. An English longbowman could hit a man at 200 meters, 12 shots per minute, penetrate chainmail at 100 meters. A musketeer in 1500 couldn't reliably hit a barn at 100 meters and needed 60 seconds between shots. Crossbows worked in any weather, never misfired, and could be reloaded in 20 seconds. Pikes cost almost nothing and stopped cavalry charges that rode straight through musket fire. By every combat metric, firearms were the worst option available. Yet by 1700, every major European army had abandoned bows, crossbows, and swords as primary weapons. Not because guns got better, because something else changed. The hidden advantage. Training an English longbowman took 10 years. Boys started at 7 with small bows. By 12, they pulled 60 pounds. By 16, 80 pounds. A war bow required 120 to 150 pounds of draw weight. That demanded muscle development that had to start in childhood. We know this from skeletal remains. Medieval archer bones show distinctive deformities: enlarged left arms, overdeveloped shoulder blades, asymmetrical spines. Your skeleton literally rebuilt itself around the weapon. You couldn't fake it. You couldn't speed it up. England maintained this through law. Every male 15 to 60 had to own a bow and practice regularly. Towns built archery ranges. Nobles sponsored competitions. This wasn't military training. This was a cultural institution that happened to produce soldiers. Now here's what matters. Take a random peasant, hand him a musket, teach him to load powder, seat a ball, prime the pan, and pull the trigger. Total training time, 2 weeks. That's not an improvement in weapon technology. That's the elimination of skill as a military requirement, and that changes everything. The calculation that changed warfare. At Agincourt in 1415, England fielded 5,000 longbowmen. That force represented decades of systematic development across the entire kingdom. Those men were irreplaceable. Lose them in battle, and you couldn't rebuild that capability for a generation. Here's the moment everything inverts. By 1631 at Breitenfeld, Sweden deployed 13,000 musketeers. If they suffered 50% casualties, replacements could be trained in 3 weeks and combat ready in 2 months. Suddenly, wars of attrition became viable. You could sustain campaigns that would have destroyed traditional armies. You could garrison hundreds of fortresses without depleting field strength. You could expand military force faster than population growth. But the real change was strategic. With traditional weapons, your military capacity was fixed by how many skilled warriors your culture could produce. With firearms, your military capacity became a function of how many men you could recruit and how much powder you could manufacture. That turned warfare into an industrial problem. States with manufacturing capacity and centralized recruitment could field armies that dwarfed anything possible under the old system. Spain built an empire on tercios. Sweden punched far above its population. The Dutch Republic fielded professional forces that rivaled major powers. States that resisted paid immediately. The Ottoman Empire maintained elite Janissary archers and composite bow cavalry into the 1700s. Individual Ottoman soldiers were often more skilled than their European opponents. They lost anyway because they couldn't match the scale of musket armies. The forgotten reversal. Here's what nobody talks about. For the first 200 years of firearm adoption, European commanders knew guns were inferior weapons. They knew it and chose them anyway. Military manuals from the 1500s openly acknowledge this. They describe firearms as less effective than bows in almost every scenario, but they recommend them because soldiers could be trained quickly and replaced easily. The French experimented with mass archer formations in the early 1500s. On paper, it should have worked. Archers had triple the range, 10 times the rate of fire, better accuracy. In practice, it failed completely. Not because of combat performance, because France couldn't train archers fast enough to match the scale of Spanish musket armies. The English clung to longbows longer than anyone. By 1588, during the Spanish Armada, England still deployed longbowmen alongside musketeers. Within 20 years, they abandoned bows entirely, not because muskets improved, because maintaining an archer culture had become economically impossible in a world where enemies could field twice as many musketeers for the same cost. So commanders made a conscious choice: accept an inferior weapon in exchange for unlimited scalability. And that decision locked in for 300 years before firearms actually became good weapons. When quality finally caught up, the flintlock mechanism arrived around 1650. Finally, a reliable ignition system simple enough for mass production. This was 300 years after the first firearms. By then, entire tactical doctrines had evolved around guns. The weapon had already won. Rifling became standard in the 1850s. For 500 years, military firearms had smooth bores and terrible accuracy. It didn't matter. The advantages of scale had already made traditional weapons obsolete. Breech loading and cartridge ammunition arrived in the 1860s, finally making guns faster to reload than bows. But by that point, no army on Earth still used bows. Every major technological improvement to firearms came after they had already displaced traditional weapons. The replacement happened first for economic reasons. The quality improvement came later because the market already existed. Why this changes everything. The firearm revolution wasn't about technology. It was about scalability destroying skill. And once you see that pattern, you see it everywhere. Roman legions weren't better fighters than Celtic warriors. Individual Celts often won duels against Romans. Rome won because it could train legionaries in 4 months and field 20 legions, while Celts were still raising war bands. Mongol bows weren't superior to English longbows, but Mongol society trained every male as an archer from childhood. They had millions of potential cavalry. England had thousands of potential longbowmen. Modern drone warfare follows the same logic. Current military drones are worse than manned aircraft in almost every metric. Slower, shorter range, less payload, more vulnerable. They're winning anyway because you can train drone pilots in months instead of years and lose machines without losing personnel. AI systems are the same. They're often worse than human experts at specific tasks. They win because you can deploy 1,000 mediocre AI systems for the cost of training one expert. Scale doesn't care about quality past a certain threshold. The pattern is always identical. A new technology appears that's objectively worse than what it's replacing, but it removes skill requirements, which enables scaling, which makes individual performance irrelevant, and within a few generations, the old system disappears completely. We tell a story about guns replacing swords because guns were better weapons. That's backwards. Guns replaced swords because guns made warriors obsolete. The weapon was worse for 300 years. The system was unbeatable. And that's what actually decided history.